this won't end well at all. According to multiple news outlets, the group named the Revolutionary Student Front, which is a far left-wing group based out of the University of Texas at Austin, is now active in the process of recruiting students who have a mental illness in order to forward their own political agenda. This sick group's asinine manifesto actually explains that their primary method of combating the symptoms of mental illness which are being faced thanks to capitalism, must be combated violently by those who are suffering the illness which was created because of the system itself. They also claim that the goal of every initiative and program which a revolutionary organization launches should be only for the purpose of recruiting additional fighters to its ranks, while forging them in the fiery furnace of class struggle, or otherwise no indoctrination. Wow, I have no word, I'm speechless. How is this group even allowed to exist? These students obviously aren't going to school to learn, they are only there to pass the time away and cause chaos. Who is even paying for these people to attend this school, and why is the state of Texas even allowing this to happen? Time, in the case of these communists, would be better spent working a job that requires hard labor. This group wants class warfare. That would mean they want war with rich people, and Trump and his family are pretty rich, or surely who triggered them. That's not good at all. It's about damn time the right in this country take back the educational system. These people want war, and war is what they will get if they aren't stopped before they start shooting. It will by no means end well for them. Although they have now taken a liking to firearms because their candidate of choice lost the 2016 presidential elections and they feel triggered. Those of us peace-loving, law-abiding, patriotic American citizens have been at this gun thing since our nation's founding. Let's hope and pray these people settle down before they hurt themselves or anyone else. Don't you agree? Preview of this group's manifesto. Dr. Bruce Scott explores the definitions and ideas attached to mental health, and offers a socialist perspective. This short and preliminary article was written as a response to an article that came to my attention that was posted on the Common Space website concerning mental health and the fact that it was recently Mental Health Awareness Week. It is laudable that the aforementioned Common Space article, many such similar articles, and mental health campaigns show concern for the mental health of our citizens. However, I have serious reservations with the concept of mental health which are routinely overlooked. The biological model of mental health is not watertight, and it remains a highly dubious concept. First, the discourse of mental health or mental illness is not all it is cracked up to be. In other words, the biological model of mental health is not watertight, and it remains a highly dubious concept. The evidence of organic substrates attributed to the cause of mental illness is nowhere near to that of physical illness. In fact, they are incomparable from a scientific point of view. For example, see the work of Healy 2003, Moncrief 2003, Boyle 2002, and Cutchins and Kirk 2003. Second, the cognitive imperialistic discourse of mental health, e.g., cognitive behavioral therapy, is misleading and excludes other discourses of conceptualizing mental distress. There are thousands of years of philosophy and numerous other alternative psychotherapeutic and psychoanalytic practices which deal with mental distress in rather different ways, which are very effective but are hardly amenable to the rigorous nature of evidence-based medicine. Certain discourses like the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, one of the main dogmas which create the deployment of the concept of mental illness, destroy other ways of conceptualizing meaning-making regarding mental distress. The symbolic language of the DSM discourse is regarded as cast iron. Words are taken as entities, these entities are taken as facts, and as a result of the proliferation of DSM diagnoses in the media, the DSM discourse becomes solidified into the symbolic language of the public. However, such a covering over and domination of the symbolic prevents one from contributing to the meaning-making of the world. What the systematizers cannot accept is that there may be many meanings, or even that there is no final meaning. Why is the realization of a questionable or imperfect symbolic such a terror? Is it such a terror? For many it is a terror. We live in a society where risk prevention is paramount, where avenues of alternative thought and searching for alternative meaning are outlawed or hidden, and where the questioning and traversing of ideological borders are taboo and not taught in any of our state educational contexts, e.g., questioning the psychological and psychiatric masters' ideas about the psychological and neurochemical basis of mental illness. Why is the realization of a questionable or imperfect symbolic such a terror? Is it such a terror? Karl Marx alluded to this situation of alienation. Alienation has certainly occurred in worker labor, especially in the 21st century, e.g., MC jobs and zero-hours contracts, but also most certainly in our productivity regarding our subjectivities. We have depression, we have OCD, we have AD, etc. Our products or our productions of our psyches are limited within narrow confines. In other words, we produce, or are coerced to produce, subjectivities in relation to the dominant cognitive neuro-imperialistic discourse of mental illness. As Gilles Deleuze and Félix Guattari, authors of Capitalism and Schizophrenia, Anti-Oedipus, and A Thousand Plateaus, would argue, we have been territorialized by the machines of capitalist discourse to only produce subjectivities which place mental distress within an individual context. The individual is to blame, one's faulty cognitions or neurochemistry is to blame, and we need experts to fix this. After all, the state needs workers who blame themselves and put themselves at the mercy of the psycho-experts to rehabilitate them, but never to question the socio-economic ideology. Yes, austerity causes distress, but please do not call it exacerbating existing mental illness. That is not the whole story, or an accurate story. Yes, austerity causes distress, but please do not call it exacerbating existing mental illness. So, while I wholly understand the need and desire to campaign for those in mental distress, we have to be very careful what we demand. Jacques Lacan, the French psychoanalyst, who had quite a few things to say about the ravages of capitalism, warned about asking the masters, e.g., government, for change. He said, beware what you ask for, because all you'll get is a new master. Here is a harsh lesson for aspiring developing subjectivity and consciousness in light of the glut of campaigning for mental health at this poignant time. We have a long way to go, for those of us, all of us, in mental distress, to subvert the master-slave dialectic of the cognitive, neuroscientific, imperialistic and alienating discourse of mental illness. We have a long way to go, for those of us, all of us, in mental distress, to subvert the master-slave dialectic. Mental illness is holed up in all the nooks and crannies of the establishment, universities, psychiatry, psychology, pharmaceutical companies, and also in certain psychotherapeutic fashions, e.g., mindfulness, who want a piece of capital pie. Mental distress is far more than an alert to an illness to be cured by a pharmaceutical straitjacket, i.e., drugs, or a program of thought control, i.e., cognitive behavioral therapy. We would be wise to lend an ear to the wisdom of Jean-Paul Sartre in these turbulent, austere times of mental health campaigning. Comrades, turn your illness into a weapon. Follow us on Facebook. Proud sponsor, Destin Charter Fishing from the web, powered by ZergNet. Navy SEAL who killed Bin Laden tossed off plane. The truth about the Obama sisters. Navy SEAL who killed Bin Laden gets thrown off plane. Awkward Olympics wardrobe malfunctions. You can't unsee woman who drove Florida shooter to school speaks out the disappointing truth about Dr. Phil.